Imagine a land, rich in history and culture, torn by a conflict that dates back to the mid-20th century. It's a saga that begins with the British Mandate over Palestine, a time when the international community bestowed upon Britain the responsibility to carve out a national home for Jewish people. As you may imagine, this decision wasn't met with open arms by everyone. The Palestinian Arabs, who had been living in the region for generations, opposed the move, setting the stage for a conflict that would reverberate through the decades. The year 1948 was a watershed moment in this tale. The State of Israel was declared, marking a significant turning point in the history of the region. The birth of this new nation was not without its opposition. 5 Arab nations rose in defiance, leading to a war that would reshape the borders of the region. The aftermath of this war left Israel in control of most of the territory. Jordan took hold of the West Bank, and Egypt occupied the Gaza Strip. It was a reshuffling of the regional map that would have lasting implications, fueling a conflict that would continue to smolder. Fast forward to today, and the fallout of these historical decisions is still evident. The West Bank and East Jerusalem are dotted with Israeli settlements, viewed as illegal under international law. The Gaza Strip, once under Egyptian control, was occupied by Israel in 1967. Despite withdrawing its troops and settlers in 2005, Israel still retains control over Gaza's airspace, border, and shoreline. The stage was set for a conflict that would mark the region for decades to come. The story of the Israel-Gaza conflict is not just a tale of battles and borders, but a narrative of people and their pursuit of a place to call home. In the heart of this conflict lies a battle over territory. The territorial disputes have been a significant part of the Israel-Gaza conflict, stretching back to the middle of the 20th century. After Israel declared statehood in 1948, a war broke out with 5 Arab countries. Israel emerged controlling most of the territory, while Jordan took over the West Bank, and Egypt took control of Gaza. Over the years, Israel extended its reach, establishing settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. These settlements, home to thousands of Israeli citizens, are considered illegal under international law. They stand as symbols of Israeli occupation and are a source of deep resentment among Palestinians. Moving to the Gaza Strip, this densely populated piece of land has its own tale. Initially occupied by Egypt, control shifted to Israel in 1967. However, in 2005, Israel made a significant decision to withdraw its troops and settlers from Gaza. This move, while seemingly a step towards peace, was not without its complications. Despite the withdrawal, Israel retained control over Gaza's airspace, borders, and shoreline. This control has been a point of contention, with Palestinians viewing it as a form of indirect occupation. Life in Gaza is challenging, with restrictions on movement and access to resources. In this struggle over land, each square mile, each patch of soil carries a narrative. It's a story of historical claims and counterclaims, of people displaced and of communities trying to establish their legitimacy. Land, a resource so basic yet so contested, continued to fuel the flame. Fast forward to the present day, where the echoes of the past reverberate in the current situation. Today, we find ourselves in a scenario where tensions have skyrocketed, fueled by recent attacks. An Islamist group, Hamas, ruling the Gaza Strip, launched a major assault on Israel, sending hundreds of gunmen infiltrating communities near the Gaza Strip. This assault resulted in the tragic loss of approximately 1,200 lives, with over 200 soldiers and civilians, including women and children, taken hostage. In retaliation, the Israeli military carried out air and artillery strikes in Gaza. The aftermath of these strikes was equally devastating, with the death toll reaching over 14,000 Palestinians, according to reports from the Hamas-run health ministry. This cycle of attack and counterattack is a grim yet familiar pattern in the Israel-Gaza conflict. It's a complex dance of power, politics, and deeply entrenched historical grievances. And at the heart of it all is Hamas. Hamas, designated as a terrorist organization by many countries, remains committed to the destruction of Israel. Their recent attacks, some speculate, may have been motivated not just by long-standing tensions, but also a desire to boost their popularity among Palestinians. This cycle of violence, retaliation, and political maneuvering paints a bleak picture of the present scenario. Yet amidst all this, people on both sides continue to live their lives, striving for normalcy in a situation that is anything but normal. The echoes of the past continue to shape the present, and the present, in turn, will shape the future of this conflict. The present, a mirror of the past, reflects a continuous cycle of conflict and retaliation. In the midst of turmoil, the world watches, reacts, and intervenes. The international community has always played a pivotal role in the Israel-Gaza conflict, responding with a mix of condemnation, diplomacy, and humanitarian aid. Western nations, including the United States, have condemned the attacks, expressing concern for the escalating violence and its devastating impact on civilians. These countries have consistently called for restraint and adherence to international law, while also providing humanitarian aid to those most affected by the conflict. On the other hand, countries like Russia and China have adopted a more neutral stance, maintaining contact with both sides and calling for an end to violence. These nations have played a critical role in facilitating dialogue and negotiation, seeking a peaceful resolution to the conflict. The pursuit of peace has seen its fair share of trials and tribulations. Over the years, peace talks have been held intermittently, with the Oslo peace process in the 90s marking a significant milestone. These dialogues, while not always successful, have provided moments of hope in an otherwise bleak landscape. More recently, the United States proposed a new peace plan under the administration of President Donald Trump. However, this proposal was rejected by the Palestinians, underscoring the complexities and disagreements that persist in the pursuit of a lasting resolution. The international response to the Israel-Gaza conflict is a testament to the world's commitment to peace and security. It's a complex dance of diplomacy and negotiation, where every step carries the weight of history and the hope for a peaceful future. The world stands as a stage where diplomatic dialogues and peace initiatives unfold. In the face of conflict, the human spirit yearns for peace, a fundamental truth that resonates strongly when we consider the Israel-Gaza conflict. Despite the deep-seated differences and decades of dispute, there are voices, brave and unwavering, that rise above the clamor of conflict, calling out for peace. In the heart of Gaza, behind the fortified walls of Israel, there are individuals who, weary of the strife, long for a resolution. They are mothers and fathers yearning for a future where their children will not know the sound of air raid sirens. They are youths, dreaming of a world where checkpoints and restrictions do not limit their potential. They are the elderly, hoping their twilight years may be spent in tranquility, rather than in the shadow of uncertainty and fear. And it's not just within these contested borders where the cry for peace is heard. Across the globe, from the bustling cities of America to the quiet corners of Asia, the call resonates. Individuals, communities, and nations alike echo the sentiment, advocating for dialogue, understanding, and an end to the hostilities. These voices underscore the necessity for a comprehensive resolution, one that addresses the historical grievances, territorial disputes, and the aspirations of both Israelis and Palestinians. It's a daunting task, no doubt, yet the alternative, an endless cycle of conflict, is an unbearable thought. The call for peace is not a naive dream. It's a recognition of our shared humanity, our collective desire for stability, and the acknowledgement that the path of violence leads nowhere. It's a reminder that dialogue, however challenging, is the first step towards understanding, and understanding is the foundation upon which a lasting peace can be built. In the echoes of strife, the call for peace rings louder, hoping to reach the hearts of those entangled in this complex conflict. For in the end, it is in peace that we find our true strength, our shared prosperity, and our common future.